We're back in the Cantina to discuss the latest Star Wars news and also share our predictions for possible reveals and announcements at the upcoming Star Wars celebration in Japan. We also stumble on the idea that Darth Maul may well be the Forrest Gump of Star Wars. All these topics and more on this week's episode of Cantina Chronicles. Welcome back to Cantina Chronicles. For those that don't know, this is a weekly Cantina crawl across the Star Wars galaxy where we have mind-expanding conversations about all things Star Wars, including news, notes, and theory, synergizing all media, synthesizing all media. We're the landing pad for all things Star Wars. Grab yourself a seat. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Do it.
Grant and Adam.
Dude, I'm docking on the landing pad. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Here we are. We're a couple weeks out from Andor season 2. Next week we're going to do a season 1 review. So because I think a lot of people will be rewatching Andor season 1.
Yeah.
Let's all talk about that together and vibe on it. That'll be great. This week we're just going to do a little grab bag jamboree from news and notes that we've missed the last few weeks as we've done some other things.
Yeah. One thing I noticed before news, just thinking of Andor, we just started a rewatch, so we got through like the first 2 episodes. It's going to be down to the wire. But I just saw on Disney Plus they actually have like a recap of the entire first season, which I've never seen them do that before. Like there's like a 3-minute thing that you can click on that just tells you everything, which I'm like, that's
why
smart.
On earth?
Like, well, I just rewatch it, but if you don't, like, I'm like, why? It's wild that they don't have more of those things. Like the Mandalorian, like there's like 2 years between every season. I'm like, it's smart to do that, right? Instead of just like this 30-second previously on thing at the very beginning. It just makes no sense.
That is super helpful. I almost wish there was like a Substack or just a video log of like the timelines and sort of the story group updating the timelines, understanding where each show lies. And if they can even do recaps for shows that are, these truncated sort of like
Yeah, I love that. I'd want to
like
infographic for sure.
Yeah. Kind of a super cut of something. Yeah.
StarWars.com definitely needs like a page on their main headline that's like an interactive galactic map that's kept up to date with every new release.
Yep.
And a timeline that you can just sort of through all of it. And it's like you could pull in novels, you could pull out novels, you could just like you show up like they have the technology for that. There's a real desire for it.
You could check those boxes.
Oh man! If you could just like your checklist for the completionists.
That's all. I live by checklists. I have one going for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 right now for all the side quests. I have like literally on my computer.
Should we plug Warhorse again as just the first studio that comes to mind when we think about a studio that should develop a Star Wars game?
Oh, hey, that's some natural. That's some natural. I can do a natural segue. You want to talk about first piece of news?
Yes, let's talk about the first piece of news.
So there has been a little more information dropped about the next Star Wars video game. They're going to have a trailer at Celebration.
Let's go. That's next weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Is it Eclipse?
Nope. No, that's like years away still, I think.
That's like,
I think there was a news story a few weeks ago of basically like, we're still working on it. And that was like the only update. This is Star Wars Zero Company. It's a tactical strategy game by I had the information. Now I don't have it. It's by BitReactor, who did the XCOM series, which I'm not super familiar with.
Did you guys just hear that thud? That was my wallet being slammed down on the table right now.
Take my money.
And some shots leaked. And it looks cool. Like it looks like I used to play real-time strategy, turn-based strategy stuff like a ton. Like that was my go-to when I was like 20 to 25 on my own PC. So I'm psyched. This is going to be great. And there's stuff with like Mandalorians. There's like, it looks like you might be able to replay the Battle of Naboo. Like there's all these like classic battles that looks like you can kind of just real-time or not real-time, I guess, turn-based strategy your way around. Yeah.
This is called Star Wars Zero Day?
Zero. Yeah. Something like that, right? Zero Day. Zero Company. Zero Company. Yeah.
Okay. Zero.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay, this is sort of a leak, right? This is kind of like exclusive.
Yeah,
this is crazy. Okay,
it's interesting, right? I know that it sounds like the trailer's coming on the 19th, so it might be like leak in quotation marks, right?
Okay.
To just get people starting to talk about it. But it was like, it is an interesting thing because it didn't seem like it just came from one person who just like shared it with one magazine.
You know,
or one,
now
like,
that, you've said
network.
this, I think I have heard of this game, you know, in being circulated on some of the gaming sort of outlets that I know about.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. I love a real-time strategy game, and I love Star Wars. So, and I think I played Empire War back in the day.
I remember Empire War.
That was a big sort of like RTS.
Yeah.
For Star Wars, that was fun, but you kind of felt cartoonish, and the scale of certain vehicles and things like that were just totally askew.
Yeah.
Where it's like I would love maybe like a little bit more realism applied, and if it's like XCOM and you're sort of like, you know, it's a closer third person point of view and you're not super far away from your units, that's actually a really cool idea for Star Wars. And that's basically Knights of the Old Republic, which is, I mean, I'm not basically, but in terms of like being turn based and attacking, yet, you know, obviously in Knights of the Old Republic you're moving in real time, and then in this game I imagine it's going to be total turn-based sort of movement and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like there's a couple things in these shots that look interesting. Like it looks like you have like a headquarters that you click on. It actually reminds me of the headquarters in the Squadrons game. But you have like different stations that are like Armory, Hollow Table, Black Market, and Special Ops. So it looks like you can like buy things and soup up your team. And then there's like one where is it? There's like one mission that they showed, which is basically like you're playing as a clone trooper, or you have the clone troopers, and you have to rescue a prisoner in 10 turns or less. Like, so it seems very strategy based, and it looks like just like tons of different moving the cameras in and out. Like it just looks like that's all I want is just be able to zoom in a tapestry of this whole entire battle and figure it out. So yeah, I mean,
it's thermal detonator.
Actually you can, because do you look at the same picture I am?
No, I'm not looking at it.
Because literally the picture I look at says,
that's what I imagine you'll be doing.
This is hilarious. Literally the picture I have at the very bottom center says throw thermal detonator.
Incredible.
Yep. So you got
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. But I mean,
got to keep the Ben Burt, sound mix alive.
So
yeah. Keep it going.
It's happening, right? Like we talked about this forever, where we just for a long time we had like one Star Wars game, and now we're getting a variety of different types of games seem to be coming out slowly,
which is awesome.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Still spoiled with Outlaw. Still waiting for that second expansion pack to drop. Though I did hear from a very unreliable source that the actor that voices Hondo Anaka just did some work and was found in a mocap suit or something like that. So
that was Jim Cummins. That was Cummings. That was another one of the stories I looked up, because it's like, so they did mocap, right? But like it can't be for that game, right? Because that, like, I guess it could
be done. It should be in the camera.
Right?
Now,
like
it should have come out already.
Right, it should be done. And I don't. So that was the weird thing. I was just thinking about that. Unless he's like, it's unclear when he was saying when it happened. So maybe he's talking about being, but even that should have been happening 6 months to a year ago, right? For that, like for a game to come out.
Well, Ubisoft has had their hands full the past 6 months.
It's very true. Yeah,
maybe they didn't get around to it. I've been bummed out about how much hate Ubisoft's been getting. I understand why they've been getting it, but I really liked Outlaws, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
And I haven't played the new game they've come out with yet, but that's definitely up my alley. So I'll play it sooner than later.
Yeah, I heard good things about. I don't know which one, but I heard good things about the new Assassin's Creed from some people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's what
is that the one you're thinking of? Yeah,
it's a Ghost of Tsushima sort of thing, but it makes sense. I'll
definitely look at that. It's like I literally have a list of videos and I play next, and I think it's down at number 3. So I can play Indiana Jones next.
Shadows, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Shadows,
that's the one.
Shadows, yeah.
One thing I like about that game, which I think is interesting, which is a little kind of off topic, but you play as 2 different characters and they have very different types of skill sets. So that's always interesting.
Yeah, I think that was the trouble they were getting into.
And there's like a season system where the seasons change, which is very cool in a game to see the seasons change.
That's really cool. Yeah. And they have like a full not dubbed, but they have a full Japanese mode, or basically subtitle mode, where you can play
I'll play the game.
Same.
Yeah.
Because that's how I did Ghost of Tsushima a lot. Was
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, so that Jim Cummings is interesting because I forgot about Outlaws, but I'm like, what else does that mean? Like, what is he going to show up in? Is this something for
He's in Mando and Grogu.
Mando and Grogu,
we're going to see
right?
a bunch more canon characters
that was
come
my
to life
thought.
in Mando and Grogu. It's going to be like cash all the checks on all the characters that we know from animation and novels. Oh man, like I don't know. You could debut a lot of characters in Mando and Grogu, but I'm still not convinced this movie is like called Mando and Grogu. I'm so confused about the film. We haven't seen a sneak peek yet. We know nothing.
Yeah,
still. I know some footage was shown at a shareholder exclusive sort of D23 thing, but
we'll get one in a week. Hopefully it's not one that they don't release to the public. Sometimes they don't do that. Hopefully it's something they'll be willing to release. But I
forgot to mention this at the top, but yes, next week, in addition to the Andor recap, we will be talking about whatever news we get from Star Wars Celebration in Japan. So
can I just make some predictions real quick? Can we all make some predictions?
Let's make some predictions.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, I think this Sean Levy movie gets announced at Star Wars Celebration. Yeah. Announced, which is basically
formally?
like what you got with Downey and Doomsday. Essentially, you basically are going to get the title font of the film and sort of the title of the film, and then you're going to get Ryan Gosling on the stage. And if these rumors are true about, I think, our next news story, another person, walks on the stage, and then maybe someone else you're not even expecting, and the movie's very real because you've got so much talent attached, and it seems like there's a real story and a great script behind it also.
Which
I hope it's a good story. I think Kennedy wouldn't push this forward and greenlight this and move this on the fast track if it wasn't a great script. So we really know nothing, and it's supposedly great.
Yeah, I would think so. I feel like they learned their lessons from the sequel trilogy of like it has to have, like you have to have the plot set, like the story set before you push something.
Good
forward.
Ending, definitely a good ending.
Yeah,
good conclusion, resolution for everyone.
Yeah, and I like it like they're not working on the schedule. I mean, that's the thing that I think really hurt the sequel trilogy the most is like having to come out every 2 years as opposed to just being able to be like, no, we need another year to let this thing cook. But I think you're right. I think we're going to get that announced. I feel like that's typical D23 is like they show a preview of the next big thing and then announced the thing after that, right? Like that's always what they want is looking towards the future. So I think you're right. We get title, we get cast, like Ryan Gosling. We can talk about now for a second just the other one. The rumor I've been hearing is Jodie Comer might be in it as well.
She is already Rey's mom.
That's the thing. It'd be interesting. I don't think she'll play the same character because she's in it for blink and you miss it half a second, and so you could easily cast her and no one would notice except us nerds.
Ben's canon brain is breaking right now.
Well, I'm wondering.
I don't know. Can you do that?
Like, is there going to be more Rey in this film than we know about? Like, what if that's a best kept secret?
Ryan Gosling is Dathan.
Ryan Gosling is Ochi of Bastoon.
Ochi of Bastoon. That's right.
All mocap. We're just getting all mocap. Now
honestly,
Ryan Johnson. Ryan.
I'm there. It'll make Rise of Skywalker better.
Yeah, I don't know. They could be doing something like that. That'd be wild. I also just read a rumor that Jesse Plemons was approached to play a villain in the Sean Levy movie as well. So, maybe this is starting to come together here, and they're getting him. I mean, Plemons
doesn't say First Order to me, or sort of remnant First Order. He
says
it's some pirate or marauder in space sort of character. Like, what could Jesse Plemons be doing?
He could be a Sith. He'd be a great.
Whoa,
Sith. That'd be fascinating.
you dropped the S-bomb. All right, did it.
I like that because I think what Plemons does so well and stuff is that he looks and comes across as innocent very easily. Like he has that face, right? And then there's always a darkness underneath that's there. And I think he could absolutely do that kind of double-sided or double-faced Sith thing. It'd be interesting.
I know that's almost too on the nose for him because all his characters kind of have that like subtle evil to them. But maybe we got a Darksider here, or a beginning, or an acolyte, or something terrifying like that. I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping both. I'm like, maybe Plemons is a creature, or we don't know, right? He could be a non-humanoid, something else. We just don't know. But I am hoping that they bring back the sort of Han Solo sort of archetype to the larger storytelling. And I hope that's sort of what they're trying to do with Ryan Gosling, because I'm like,
I would be
we've been missing Han Solo for so long. Like we were just kind of hoping to get a fun smuggler back in the mix, a scoundrel, with a heart of gold. That's like, but is really rough and tumble and does beat people up at the bar, and it's very Western. Like we're looking for that sort of
he's seen it all.
Yeah.
And such a good avatar to have, where he's just like, oh gosh, where it's like, not terror, it's not all these things. He's just like, oh, I've got to go back and like, we can do this, but we got to fight through the Empire, and I got to bust another blockade, and it's just like, I've done a million of these things, and it's going to be hard. Like, I love that attitude. That's really that cavalier.
Yeah, he's not
Star Wars thing.
Yeah, he's not the man with no name, and he's not this like chivalric knight. Errant knight. He's like this languid scoundrel, and it's this fun sort of hero archetype that I don't think we have.
We haven't,
and we need it again in Star Wars.
No, it's very true. I think that's if they're smart. I mean, that seems like maybe Sean Levy was just very much, and he seems like
look at the filmography.
He seems adept at looking at like franchises and kind of like picking out what works and what doesn't. I mean, you look at like Deadpool and Wolverine, like he clearly had the secret sauce of kind of like, how do we take this? How do we combine these things? How do do something that's fun, but also connects to the MCU? Like he made all those moving points. I mean, it's not like a masterpiece.
How many bar scenes does he do with Wolverine and Wolverine?
That's right.
The point where it's like, man, there's probably going to be a few Cantina scenes here. They're probably all going to be executed.
Probably like really 50% Cantina.
Okay.
It's to be like all Cantina. But but I could totally see him looking over like the last 20 years of Star Wars and being like, where's Han Solo? There's no Han Solo in any of this. Like, this is what we're missing. The other thing is like, if they cast Ryan Gosling in anything other than that role, they're wrong. They're wrong. It's the wrong. Like it's like, bad. It's bad. It's a waste.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So that's why I'm like more sure of this than anything I've ever done with Star Wars. Is he's going to be a scoundrel. And part of it too might be like, I love Solo. I love the movie Solo. We've talked about this, but it wasn't my headcanon for Han Solo prior to that, right? Like that he was always a good person. Like that's the story of Solo is like, he's always a good person.
He's like a proto rebel, and it's crazy. It makes no sense.
Even at his best, he's not a great guy.
He's barely making good choices. He's barely making a choice that gets him ahead in life.
He makes really the right choice when it
one step forward.
Exactly, that's the thing. And I think to tell more of a story of someone who actively finds the good after time, you know what I mean, who's just been living the scoundrel's life forever and kind of has bought into it, and then maybe something happens that finds someone he has to protect, or something happens, right? They're probably gonna do a kid's story. Oh god, is it gonna be another kid story? Is it gonna be like finds a kid he has to protect?
No,
Star Wars.
I don't think it can be. It has to be something totally fresh.
Is that just us old manning about Star Wars? Or are we just gonna have to? It's just gonna be about kids forever, and we're just gonna get older.
It's not. I don't mind kids. I just don't want the have to protect this kid story again. Like
right.
We have that in Mando. Times. Like that's all. Right. That's all. I don't mind if there's kids. Kids are great. I love Skeleton Crew.
Right.
Most of kids.
What if it's like Heat?
Those kids didn't.
Or it could be like Heat, where it's like a heist thing or something.
Yeah.
Like an action heist, like big time heist, wherein like Solo had like a heist as well, but it felt like there were a few other threads being worked out in that movie where that wasn't the main plot line. Where just like big heist movie could be all about the heist, timing, drive. Like it could be used for the drive stuff that
in Ocean's 11, right, where you're just focusing on one big heist for the entire movie, as opposed to Solo has a little bit of that, but you're right. But it's also like multiple heists and backstory in that movie. Yeah,
character development and all that. But it was a fun romp through the whole galaxy. Saw another like, why did people exactly? It was like right on the front page of Reddit. Why did people not like Solo? It was like the third thing on like my feed.
I will die on this hill.
You're being targeted, dude. I don't know what's happening.
It was just a weird thing, and it was just like popped up there.
You just see like the worst of us, of humanity.
Well, I'm sure people like did a great job defending it. Even on that.
Oh, that's good.
That's a terrible sub, but but I was just so surprised. Like, why is this getting so much traction today? It doesn't make any sense. And Solo's an amazing movie, and you should go watch it. It's great.
It's a super fun movie.
It is the least memorable Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it's also like it could be completely jettisoned, and I wouldn't care. Like that's another thing where it's like, if this whole thing was to move forward, and we were like, oh, we're jettisoning some of the canon, and Solo was one of it, I'd be like, cool. Han's back to having this mystique, and who knows where his morality lies, and he never helped any sort of like revolutionary group, before the rebellion, and instead he's just a sort of like, all out scoundrel like we were talking about. Like that's
the fact that Han Solo,
it's very parallel to everything else that's actually important. But I mean, Kira, and I mean the Cloud Riders, it's like he didn't even know they were like a revolutionary group until the very end, I guess.
Right, but then still did it. Like,
still did it. Still helped them.
Which I get, but at the same time, it kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. Especially I love that movie, and I'm one of the biggest defenders of that movie. It kind of rubs me the wrong way that he was almost part of the rebellion before Luke Skywalker was part of the rebellion. Which is like, no, that's not how that should happen.
I just, for me, like if that film ended with the Jabba laugh, it would have been a great film.
Yeah,
but it ended with Darth Maul, which was like, this is just not Darth Maul territory, in my opinion. It's like Darth Maul is cool, and he covers like just a Venn diagram of almost all the subcultures in Star Wars. I mean, like he's joined the Mandalorians, he's in the underworld, he's a Sith, he's like he's a Jedi, in Ezra, like he's dabbled in both light and dark. Like he's been in every category, which is just like, for me, Han Solo is like strictly underworld characters, and sort of like really highlight the underworld in a way that like, and people who are in the underworld, like Jabba the Hutt. It's like, that is everyone, the entire audience will just be like, oh, it's Jabba the Hutt. Like everyone will know and have this
but they were their own, to play devil's advocate, and that makes perfect sense, and yes, that would have been the vibe that I would have gotten. I mean, they were their own crime syndicate, and it's like, then you got to put the Hutts above them if it's Jabba, and it's like, it's a little confusing. And which came first, Clone Wars season 7 or War Solo? Because the happiest
Solo
man
is first.
Yeah, the happiest man in the world to see Maul must have been Filoni, because he's like, yes, like, and then he became like, it was like Maul's underworld phase that he went through.
Yeah.
Like he had his Mandalorian phase, and then he had his underworld phase, and then he had his like Rebels.
That is the text. That is the text. That is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And he even had his like Jedi phase kind of towards
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's
like,
kind of everything is what I'm saying.
He's been everywhere.
Let's not forget the spider legs phase.
Yeah. He's been like
he was like the sewer rat
cyborg of the entire franchise as well.
It's Darth Maul now, the most complicated Star Wars character.
Yes, I'm telling you, he has every subculture, combined. It's amazing.
It's wild.
And then people just undersell him as Sisyphus pushing the boulder, and I'm just like, no. He is like
he's
100 different things.
He's Forrest Gump.
You're not wrong.
He is. That's right.
You are not wrong.
He was the leader of the Mandalorians. He was the leader of the Crimson Dawn. He was. He was
the first Sith to emerge in millennia. Like
he was apprenticed to Darth Sidious. I mean, which is like low on the tier. He tried to overthrow, like then kill the Emperor right as he almost like stopped the fall of the New Republic.
He's responsible for Anakin's fall via Qui-Gon's death, via the murder of possible good master. Master appropriate for.
Yeah, and he's like the first Sith to kill a Jedi in over 100 years, right? Because probably the last one was
1,000 years. For sure.
Well, the Strange, don't forget what's his name was
Sith. I forgot about that.
He killed a lot of Jedi.
Who was the Sith?
Stranger. In the Acolyte.
He killed him, and all the stuff that happened. I'm sure Plagueis killed a bunch.
Speaking of how it worked, I completely forgot about. Yeah, that exists.
Yeah,
and that is canon.
Yeah, that's canon, man. We'll always have Chimere.
I love Chimere, honestly.
I think he's going to be in Japan next week.
Yes,
that's cool. I look forward to seeing what he has to say.
I wonder if we get any Acolyte related news, because we don't have to go too far down this rabbit hole we've talked quite a bit about, but there is more there's been like a huge petition going around to sign to get it uncanceled. The numbers that have been now leaked, that the actually how successful it was, like it feels like I wonder if they're going to slightly backtrack on some of that.
I would love that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Have you seen this too, Grant? It's like there's a huge push now, like for Acolyte to be continued.
Oh, it should continue, because after watching season 1 of Ahsoka and watching season 1 of The Acolyte, I was like, Oh, I want season 2 of The Acolyte. Whereas I'm interested in season 2 of Ahsoka, but like again, I've kind of been to Mortis in the animated shows, and I kind of know what like how high fantasy this can be, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. So it's like a lot of apprehension. But Acolyte season 2, I was like, I need it. I need it in my veins. It's like Plagueis, Chimere, Osha. Like, it's a very. I can't wait. I hope they do it.
I still wonder if they're gonna retool it and it not.
Can I tell you how they should? Can I tell you how they should retool it? Can I tell you?
Please.
I think I want to connect to a Tony Gilroy comment from last week that we talked about, which is that he's hopeful that Star Wars can sort of, take form in new genres like horror and comedy and sort of just like really explore the spectrum of what the IP can be. And I wonder if he said horror mainly because there's a horror story in mind that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and that is the rise of Sheev Palpatine. And if you take Tony Gilroy and Bo Willimon and Toby Haynes and they tackled all the really highfalutin sort of like political English speech of and political intrigue of all these characters that surround Palpatine as that character is rising, to me that is another just like Andor level prestige series that is like just sitting there. And in that series, Plagueis and Chimere could be more like Darth Maul, where they're in the shadows, they're sort of like they're puppeteering, they're doing stuff. But I think you get the Sheev Chimere fight, or I don't know, Osha should be in the mix as well. Like I don't know what's going on essentially with all that, the master and apprenticeship of what's going on. And we don't even know what Chimere's relationship to Plagueis is. Essentially, it's just not explored.
If there is one,
if there's right. We don't know. And I'm like, I love that idea, and I love this idea of playing around with horror. There are elements. Part of what I love about the Acolyte is gave me like a couple things in there. One was that like that episode where Chimere, basically the entire episode is a lightsaber fight, which is like yes please, or like 20 some odd minutes of a lightsaber fight, is also like horror adjacent. Like they're like him coming out of the shadows,
Chimere, levitating.
Chimere, the way he kills what's her name, Jackie.
I mean that was terrifying. That was the most violent Star Wars has ever been. I think, because it's such a lovable, innocent, intelligent, like ambitious Jedi that you are just like you care for and you hope nothing bad happens to this person, and then dies in the most gruesome and in like a split second. Dies
a split second
immediately.
Still remember actually got going, oh no.
Like even Qui-Gon gets to like look up and then live for a little bit. Jackie just gets like double tapped with a lightsaber. It was wild. And then the Yord death was also incredibly gruesome and
really gruesome.
Sort of like those are the sort of like bold choices I like to see in sort of the art and sort of the choreography of something that's happening. I really don't like when people are just hitting each other and falling over, and it's no one's like there's no stakes. And so I really like that we got some incredible stakes in the show.
Star Wars creators need to watch that episode and take notes, because the way she choreographed the fight and also used it to move the story forward was amazing. It was storytelling during the fight. Like that's one of the most amazing things in Star Wars. And I think we all take it for granted. Like that is small screen lightsaber fights rarely happen. And to have it happen that long and to have it actually still move the plot forward was really incredible.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite, like if we were to rank Star Wars episodes of all the like live action, that's up there. That might be top 3 for me.
I think, and I think if back in our archives, our deep archives, I think we have these old episodes where we're like, I think I was talking about my reactions to the sequels or talking about something. And I was just like, man, I just missed the days of like igniting a lightsaber, sharing your philosophy. It bounces off another character. They share their philosophy. You battle it out. There's character development. You battle it out. The lightsabers stay ignited. There's like, to me, it's like having like a duel with the sort of like conversation in the duel is to me like so Star Wars, and it's sort 100%. Of what I love about Empire Strikes Back, and it's like my favorite aspect of Empire Strikes Back.
That's such a good point. Which I mean, I think we talked about before. But it's in all 3 of them, right? All 3 of them, like they're talking, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi like Vader fight.
They're all
in
good. They're all incredible.
And some of the best lines
Only
from Star Wars. Yes, that's the thing. Some of the literally the best, most quotable lines in the Star Wars trilogy happened during lightsaber fights.
They're so good. Yeah. I miss those days, and impressive. I feel like the Acolytes brought that back in a really great way.
Yeah. I think Grant and I, you and I were just talking in the hallways the other day, and I think we were talking about how like Star Wars should be scary.
Yes.
Like even like horror, let's take it to that extent, but just in general, there should be stakes. It should be a little scary out there in the galaxy.
Yeah, I think our movies. Yeah, we've another thing about the sequels is they did feel a little clinical and sterile to me, where I was like, they felt like an Apple store. You know what I mean? Like, and I was a little bit like, man, there's no more grime and grit and stakes and shadow trenched corners in this galaxy. And like, I'm not scared of anything. I just feel like everything's so brightly lit. Our bad guys in gold. Like I'm just hoping for like, when we do go back to the Sith, that they're like just terrifying. There's like so much sublime horror, their rituals, their temples, their ziggurats, their culture. Like everything's just like kind of scary. There's sacrifice. There's a Darwinistic sort of like the strongest, will survive, and survival of the fittest. Like it's just like a brutal sort of like culture. Like I am hoping that, and then if we do that, like how many people are going to be upset that is the focal point? Like I don't know. Like that's I think why the studio is going to the future. I think they're like, let's just not go to like prehistory and medieval politics. Like I feel like they just want to move forward because they think, hey, if we move forward, at least like we know a new Jedi Order is starting. We know there's like piracy. Those are like whatever guys that don't, their politics are only built off of what the core is sort of providing. And it's the post New Republic at this point.
Yeah. The Free Republic, we're calling it. But I feel like
Free Republic.
I think so much hangs on how Dawn of the Jedi does, right? If that's a super successful movie, I think they will look more to the past and tell some of those past stories. And if it flops, we're never seeing it. It's just going to be all future all the time.
Well, I mean, I feel like even as we go forward, we should go backwards. Like I like the idea of like that vibe going all the way through time with the Sith, where it's just like, no, we're a cult, and it's like, it never modernizes. It's
I fundamentally think that the only story you do back in time is at like the apex of the Sith. Like I don't really like the idea of going to like when they're building wood lightsabers and the first temple. Like I just don't care about that. I care about sort of like the apex of one of these groups, but like in a time we've never seen before, like long ago, essentially. That, to me, that's like where you start the story, because I'm instantly compelled. It's in media res. We're not like, I don't know.
There's a million ways to show the difference between like the Sith Empire and the Empire, right? Like the Sith, controlling the galaxy should be an extremely scary place. And
and that's actually like the most fruitful, I think, fertile sort of environment for storytelling, because it's like you now replace the evil galactic empire with the stormtroopers and ATSTs and TIE fighters with like Sith who wield lightsabers as the sort of like normal infantry type character that you're coming up against is like someone wielding a lightsaber. Gnarly new ship designs, like incredibly fast, violent ships, like incredible new cruisers and the capital ships, like the whole new art direction, like that's like not an echo of Stormtroopers or not a riff on Stormtroopers. It's just a completely new direction, bold new direction, which is scary. I get that that's scary for an IP. Like I get it's like, do we just hang our hat on like this completely new direction and it looks like this and da-da-da.
Yeah, but, you need soldiers to make the story, though. You need some lightsaber fodder in between all the.
There'll definitely be Sith soldiers too, right? Because the Sith trooper in the Rise of Skywalker is obviously precedent for the Sith having their own, infantry as well. So you're
like acolytes and whatnot. Yeah,
it's a lot
of fun. Acolytes, exactly. Yeah, so much, right? Like what you were talking about. Do you get that in a movie where it's like a couple, a group of people who have the Force meet up on Jeddah, and then like one turns to a Sith and one turns to a Jedi? Like to me, it's like I rather see the movie where it's like we're far down the line of both these different schools of thought, like evolving and taking entire swaths of the galaxy for their own territory. And like, I imagine there's a Sith space, like a whole sector that is just Sith space. Like to me, that's fast. To me, that's like where I want to be in the storytelling. I want to know that there's Sith space, because that's you don't want your ship. You don't want to go, lose your Navi computer to fry out when you're out there in Sith space. Like that's stakes to me. You know what I mean? Like, we need that. We need that.
And I mean, a galaxy divided. It's like the New Republic's the whole galaxy. The like Empire's the whole galaxy.
Yeah,
just like it would be so compelling to have Sith space and Republic space. And then I know you had like a monarchy in there too, like in some space. Like, but all right. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's the secret sauce.
I'll edit that out.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Didn't you say? And it'll be like,
no, not at all. No. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, the people keep talking about the Sith and the Jedi, but I really do think you need to introduce new factions. That sort of like can be incredible, sort of like commentary on real world.
But a carved up galaxy is all I'm saying.
Carved up
different factions. Yes, that's
and then even the Mandalorians, right? Like, don't you want to see Tar Vizsla? Don't you want to see before Tar Vizsla and before the Darksaber and what they were before that time?
Yes,
like, I want to see all of these factions. I think
I want to see a galactic map that has 4 different colors of territories, right? And where they line up, and like that's what I want to see. I just that my fantasy heart loves that, right? Give me a map and show me where everyone controls. And like, I mean, the closest we've gotten to that recently at all really has been recently with the High Republic, right? I mean, we talk about how well it's been done, but like moving into the third phase, right? The Nihil have their space. There's Nihil space now, right? Which is interesting to see. I mean, it's not going to last very long, but
right.
That's going to be dispelled in like the final novel, right?
Yeah,
so,
I assume. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it wouldn't. Withstand unless like the Hutts take it over and it's like Hutt space is actually. But I mean, I think to get the thing done, you got to knock it down. Grant, I will, and for people at home, this is not spoilery because it hasn't come to fruition. But I read the S word in the latest High Republic novel.
Oh yeah,
we were going to be talking about.
Oh really?
But
but like, is it? No, well, we've already read the word Sith in High Republic novels. I think Aslan mentions the Sith.
This is done a little bit different. Is
it actually impactful? Does any sort of Sith lineage?
They mentioned it so early in the book that I'm like, okay. I know how you're feeling, Grant, and I think I'm just wondering if eventually we will tie into some Sith into that.
Oh, I just think if there's not a giant Sith conspiracy by the end of these novels, I kind of just don't know why we're doing this. It's confusing to me.
I don't think you can get out of this without cutting to the Sith at some point to show because what are the Sith doing at this point? They'd have to be doing something. If they're not involved with it, they'd at least be stoking the flames, right? To help to sow this chaos. But like if we don't hear anything about them, it's a weird thing.
I wonder if there's going to be like a Row age where they were secretly the Sith, and it like started with the mother, and like it passed through like the Evereni were like a Sith culture for a while, and like Row is secretly a Sith, but he just like doesn't really control the Force, but he has a lightsaber. Like I don't know, but it
could be the recanonization of the Sith species. Or whatever, but
I had that thought when they first introduced that.
But they're called Evereni, which is
and they see ghosts, right? So. I mean,
no, and I think they do allude to a connection with the Sith at some point. I really do think there's like, I remember certain pros that were just like, and then one day, like the travelers came and left. Like every time they've talked about the Sith in these novels, they've been sort of like, there's sort of been like an abstract reference, and they've sort of like skirted around actually naming them. So
like
it's cool that
history,
deep history. It's been like, oh yeah, and they came and then they like conquered the Drengir and used the Drengir and then left, and it's like. Okay, like all right, like and then
because like, why does Marchion Row know where these places are?
Well, Marchion Row is a Sith, like, and his like you're saying, and his mother is a Sith, and you know
they talk to Force ghosts.
Like they are dark. They like take it. They like in moments and bouts of passion, they sort of attack people or hurt people or let bad things happen to people. So they're kind of Force sensitive. They're like kind of attuned. And I have to think that like there's maybe some Force sensitivity there. He even takes on a lightsaber.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I mean, what if the story is that Marchand Rose, what's the mother's name? Cannot remember her name.
I forget. Yeah,
but like it could be as simple as that she was the Sith apprentice at the time, and this was her grand plan, right? So like because they're generationally thinking. That's what I love about the Sith. Is like the Sith think in generations, right? And so it might just be like, I'm going to create this cult. That's going to eventually take down the Jedi. And right. Like
sure.
In 20 years, there'll be a force to take on the Jedi.
Now the what is it? The what's their group called? The Path of the Open Hand. Yeah, the Path of the Open Hand. Like, that's basically like the Bene Gesserit.
I mean, I just know that I want to be able to draw a complete line from Darth Sidious all the way back to Darth Bane. And if it goes through an Ever-Any phase and it's just like all the Ever-Any's for like 3 generations or whatever, I'm cool with that.
But if in the final book, like I just don't like these like knee-jerk reveals where it's like, and then he was a Sith all along. It's like we really could have built in some really fun lore and extrapolated on like their connection to the Sith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have like the in a fun way. Towers and stuff. I mean, that's like this is all actually tying back to Sith like stuff, right? There was the oh no, that was a different race, right? With the obelisks.
Yeah,
the Echo Stones. That's what I was talking about. Different. Those aren't Sith, right?
Different culture. Yeah,
I don't think so.
That was another.
Well, there is no Sith culture in canon. It's just the Sith organization is the only canon.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was confused. I thought that was another Sith thing as well, but it's not. I'm kidding. It's all mushing into my brain. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. We'll talk more about the High Republic later. I think we're going to lump in Tempest Breaker. Well, it's going to be the summer of the High Republic, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's lots coming
after Andor's done, we're going to have tons to cover, and the comics are moving along.
I think too. It's just announced.
Yeah. A new comic, and then there also is the final. I think the final novel comes out this summer.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Light Into the Light is out right now. I'm reading it. And it's really fun. Claudia Gray, sort of going full circle from her first book on at a Maxian station.
Well, see, Claudia Gray is, I think she has like the Sith pass to talk about the Sith, because I think Maxian,
she brought it up
in that initial book. It's all about the Sith and the Drengir.
Yeah,
and so maybe she's carving that path forward, and it's to be trusted with her. And so that I hope I'm excited to read this book now that it's out there.
Yeah, that's right. Was it Into the Dark? Was that the first
Into
book?
the Dark, I think that's right.
It makes sense now. It's Into the Light, and they're,
Yes.
It's like a poem.
It rhymes. It's like poetry.
Poem. Yeah.
Right on. Any other news items that we missed?
I think we hinted at there was a possible casting rumor for the Sean Levy movie.
Oh, I mentioned.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah, we talked.
We steamrolled right through
Clemens. We steamrolled. Okay, cool. We just
that's what we said. He could be a Sith.
And that got us into.
It got us here. That got us all the way here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Huh.
There's not a ton.
I'm glad I'm keeping track of our conversation.
The only other piece of news I found, which is not super news, but I just think it's interesting. We talked a bit off air about it, but is that they are filming the original 1977 cut at the BFI, which is the British Film Institute, in June. And I think it's the just for nerds out there, it's shown in a dye transferred IB Technicolor print, first produced for the initial British release. So this is like legit, like 1977.
Wow.
Star Wars. And
they're
like
going to screen.
That they're going to screen. But a couple things that's really interesting about that is that this might be the first like Lucasfilm okayed film showing of this, that you can catch them. Like I have been at places not where they will like screen original Star Wars. They can't call it that, they can't advertise it, but they're like a space opera. Like they'll do those things.
I think the original Star Wars is so important.
Blue Harvest.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, this might be part of them starting to loosen. Like I really want, I love the new versions, but I want on Disney Plus to be able to choose, do I feel like I'm in the mood to watch original version or special edition? Like I miss it. I miss seeing that version. And it's not like I think that's the better version. I just want to be able to watch it if I'm in the mood to watch it.
Yeah, I think they already have like a legacy category on Disney Plus. So
Yeah,
you can just slide it right in there, and you'd make a lot of people happy.
If I can watch the droids and Ewoks cartoons from 1980s, why can't I watch the original 1977 cut of Star Wars or the holiday special? Release the holiday special.
I could devil's advocate that for days because I think that Star Wars is unique and that they keep iterating like year after year. Like who else does that? Like, but I wanted to add this other scene and this other stuff in there. Like, I think that's so unique to Star Wars.
But I'm like, don't stop. Don't keep doing that, but keep the original and then the iterative to be able, because then you can go back and look and see like all the stuff that's happened. And it's not me like it's not me like doing the old man canon. I just want the non CGI. I miss it. It's just odd that I grew up. Any other movie I grew up with, I could watch the original version of, except Star Wars. Like why?
Right.
Like why?
It's crazy too because it's such a pretty print and it's gonna be really special for people to see.
Yeah, it's really I mean, especially for if you've never seen Star Wars before, it's like, hey, this captivated hundreds of thousands, so millions even.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, big week next week. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, and looking forward to speaking with you then. And thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next week on Cantina Chronicles.